everyone, it's JJ here and welcome to my channel. This is the second part of the video where I'm gonna create 10 plus 1 card using the Tonic craft kit number 31. Let's move on to the card number 7. I'm going to cut out a panel on a white cardstock with a standard size that is 4¼ by 5½ inches. Now I'm going to cut out my panel with this beautiful die included in the kit. As you can see, my panel is divided in two parts. Using this border die, I'm going to create a nice edge on this part of the panel. And that is what I get. Now I'm going to cut out a strip of this gorgeous handmade cotton paper you can find in the kit. This is what I'm gonna make, more or less. After created my card base, that's 4¼ by 5½ inches, I am ready to assemble my card, so I'm going to glue the cotton paper strip directly on my card base with my Nouveau liquid glue. I chop off the excess and I will stick the white panel with foam tape to get a nice dimension. I'm going to stick the white panel with the curved edge at the very top of the card base. But before stick down the panel with the flowers, I go to print my sentiment using a set not included in the kit. It is a very versatile stamp set, perfect for any occasion. I chose it time to celebrate. I use my stamp platform just to be able to print several times to get a nice and crisp result. As a ink, I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black. I decided to emboss my sentiment, so I'm using some clear embossing powder. And I set it with my heat tool. To finish my card, I'm adding few dots on the stamens of the flower with the pink crystal drop of the kit. I don't know, stamens. I don't know, sorry for my poor botanical knowledge. And my 7th card is finished. For this card I'm going for a shaker card. First of all, using a stitched rectangle die, I'm gonna cut a panel slightly smaller than the standard card, that is 4¼ by 5½ as usual. I'm going to mark the center of my card, that is 2¼ inches, and I'll put the die that cut out the butterfly base, making sure that its body is aligned with the center I marked, nice and straight. So I have created half of my butterfly. Then I'll put the same die on the back side of the panel. I will get a mirror die cutting. I put attention to line up the body with the previous die cutting to get a complete butterfly shape. As you can see here. Now I'm going to cut out 2 half butterflies, turning one of them to get one full butterfly. With my bone folder I'm going to remove the die cut marks from the back of my mirrored butterfly as best as I can. Then I decided to color it with my pink glitter marker included in the kit. I think that my panel is too white, so I'm going to do some splashes using the glitter marker diluted with water and a thin tip brush. In the Tonic craft kit you will find the die set stored in a paper folder and stick on this acetate sheet. I don't store my dice in this way, so I'm gonna use this acetate to make my shaker card window. In crafting, nothing is thrown away. After cut out a piece of acetate big enough to cover up completely the window, I'm going to stick it using the liquid glue, but you can use a double-sided tape. I glue my two half butterflies together, overlapping their bodies. I can stick my butterfly down, gluing only the body to be able to curl up its wings, giving a nice movement, as you can see. I'm going to choose one pattern paper from the pad included in the kit. I'm going for this one. It will be the background of my shaker card that you see through the acetate. I'm gonna stick some foam tape all around the window, making sure not to leave any open space, otherwise the little shaker element I will put inside could come out. As a shaker element I'm going to use a mix of pink confetti and sequins, green sequins, both included in the kit. Gently I peel off the protective film from the foam tape. As a sentiment I will use the die from the kit which says Warmth Wishes. I'm going to color a piece of white cardstock with the glitter marker. In this way it will match perfectly with the color of the butterfly. I glue the sentiment on its base, die cut with the matching die. I'm going to stick my sentiment on the panel with some foam pad to get a nice dimension, and then I can stick my panel on the card base. It's time to put the finishing touches. I'm using the crystal drops to do some drops here and there, and my card is finished. Fun but elegant. Let's move on to the card number 9. For this card I plan to do a paper pressing technique with die cut. It's like to play with a puzzle. It will take a lot of time, but the results are amazing in my opinion. So I'm gonna cut out this gorgeous strip die from the kit on this pink classic cardstock, carefully keeping safe all the small pieces of the flowers. Then I'm going to die cutting the same floral strip on white cardstock. I'm gonna cover up the back of my flowers with some foam pads. Of course you can use any double-sided tape. After cover up the back of the flowers as much as I can, I start to do the puzzle. I'm going to refill all the gaps of the flowers with the little pink pieces die cut before. I think it's so beautiful. I start to refill the smallest one. To finish my focal point, I cut off the excess from the flowers, following the shapes of the petals. I decided I want the leaves green, so I'm going to glue a piece of this green embossed paper on the back of the leaves. Then I will snap off the excesses with my scissors. For this card I'm going for a window card. For that, with a circle die, I will cut out a window on a white panel slightly smaller than my standard card. For my window background, I choose this pattern paper from the pad. And I'm also going to create a frame for this, using the same circle die I used before and a smaller one. I'm gonna use some purple tape to be sure that my dies stay in place when I throw them in my die cutting machine. And now I'm ready to assemble my card. First of all, I glue the window background behind the main panel using foam tape to get a nice dimension. You can turn this window card into a shaker card, of course. I'm gluing the frame and I stick down my focal point. I add some foam pad to keep my flower nice and even. I have cut a rectangle panel from the pink classic card that will cover up completely my card base so as to create a nice border all around my main panel, as you can see. For my sentiment I used again the Warm's Wishes, die cutting the specialty paper I have used for the window frame and for the leaves. We are at the end of the card and I'm going to add some final details with my Nuvo drop. And I'm going to add some sequins here and there to get a touch of shine on my card. My window card is finished. Let's move on to the card number 10. If you remember, in the previous card I die cutted this floral strip on the pink classic card, using only the small pieces in excess to fill the spaces of the flowers. So in this card I will use this pink strip. With the matching die I'm going to create this nice border for my exotic strip. Using the same edge die, I mark a line with a pencil directly on my card base. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the big shot because in any position I put die and paper, the size of my die cutter is too small to contain them. Anyway, it's quite easy to cut this line, no problem at all. Then I glue the tropical strip on the card base, following carefully the edges. For card 10, I'd like to use the clean and elegant design I used for the card 7, a style that in my opinion match perfect for use of the cotton paper that we find in the kit. So I'm going to cut out a strip of this specialty paper, quite large, to cover completely the empty space left from the top of the card base. I apply glue on the back of the strip and I'm going to stick it inside of the card and at the very bottom. And I'm going to chop off the excess with my scissors. I'm going to cut out a very thin strip of this pink classic card to decorate the top edge of the handmade cotton paper strip. For the sentiment I die cutted once wishes, once on the pink classic card and twice on white cardstock. Now I'm going to glue the sentiment on each other, aligning them as the best as possible and gluing the pink one above, so we'll get a nice dimensional sentiment. It's time for the finishing touches. I'm using this gorgeous glitter drop on the stamens. When dry they will look like little gems and will give an elegant touch of shiny on my card. I can't stop myself to add these little drops. And my card is finished. For my last card I will use the only product that I haven't used yet, the Glacier paste. It is a paste with a little flakes of mica inside. You can apply it directly on the card with a spatula or using a stencil like I'm doing here. The stencil is not included in the kit and I've chosen this floral design. Now the best part of this technique. Remove the stencil and voila! Then comes the worst, cleaning the stencil and the work surface. And here's the first tip of the day. When you use a paste with glitters, mica inside, put a paper sheet of protection as you can eventually throw. Otherwise, you will have to fight with glitters like me now. Personally, I really like their effect, but they are beautiful and small as well as terrifying. While I was cleaning everything, my background has dried, so I'm going to cut out it to be slightly smaller than the card base. For this card I decided to create a frame, therefore from 6x6 paper pad I'm choosing the paper better matches the panel in my opinion. With two stitched rectangle dies, one smaller than the other, I create a frame with the yellow polka dot pattern paper from the kit. With the strip of leaves die, I'm going to die cut the green pearlescent paper twice. For this card I'm gonna do the paper piecing technique again, so I keep all the little pieces. Going to stick some double-sided tape on the back of the leaves and I can proceed to the composition of the puzzle. When the leaves were done, I cut a tropical flower on magenta mirror card. After cutting out the excesses by carefully following the shape of the petals, I'm going to reuse the paper piecing technique. So I cover the back side of the flower with double-sided tape and I proceed to refill the gaps. To make the flower more realistic, I'm going to cut out the stamen on the gold iridescent mirror card. Then I'm gonna glue it on the stamen of the flower. To give more dimension to this beautiful flower, I die cut it one more time and then I glue it above. After I have decided where everything is going to go, I am ready to assemble my card. Using a very thin foam tape, I'm going to stick down the frame. I'm also adding some liquid glue to make sure my frame stays in place, as my panel has a textured paste. I'm going to glue my floral composition on the right bottom corner of my frame. my sentiment I'm gonna use this stamp set, not included in the kit, which contains various sentiments for any occasion. On a white card I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday with my VersaFine ink Onyx Black. Then I'm going to cut it out in a very thin strip, making a fish tail on the left side. Finally, I'm going to stick it on the card. To finish my card, I'm going to add some sequins here and there. And my last card is finished too. I hope these 2 videos give you inspiration to use this kit. In any case, you can use whatever you have in your stash to create something similar. Now let's make a quick look of leftovers. I still have some cardstocks left, a lot of pattern paper sheets so I can make many variations of these cards. The jars of confetti and sequins are still quite full. I still have a fair amount of these products, especially in the normal size ones, like the pink crystal drop and the glitter marker. Obviously I have the die and the stamp set I can use forever. To finish, take a quick look at all the 10+1 cards I created using the kit. If you missed the unboxing of the Tonic Craft Kit 31 and the first part of this video, I leave their links down below the description area. In the description box you can also find the list of all the supplies I used to make this card, as well as on my blog. Don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like if you liked the video and a comment to tell me what is your favorite card. Thanks for joining me today, see you all next time and be colorful!